Welcome, guys, to the Meet Damien channel. I am Damien. Good to see you guys in the stream here. We're looking at the Bitcoin price currently trading at $96,500. We did break past $97,000. The $97,000 sell wall has been broken. Okay, this is good to see that Bitcoin is actually making higher highs here on the prices. I'm just looking at the daily chart here. And I got a few things pulled up here. We're looking at the VRVP here, which shows this blue point of control. This blue line is a POC, the point of control. That is showing that Bitcoin, it wanted to go back to this $96,000 level, which it's currently at right now. And even a little bit further past that, where we saw Bitcoin get as high as like $97,546 here on Coinbase exchange. We were eyeballing this number here because this is a very crucial number where some decisions need to be made. Is Bitcoin going to continue making higher highs going forward? Okay. Or are we going to get rejected, come down, maybe go down to lower prices here? Okay. We still don't know for sure if Bitcoin's going to go up to higher prices or not. Okay. But it has been good so far the last couple of weeks. Okay. $96,000 is a target that I've been eyeballing for a while here. only because the Fibonacci level was also saying like 96,000. The 0.618 retracement level was at $96,000. The next level that I am eyeballing, if Bitcoin continues to be bullish here, is going to be the 0.786 retracement level here at $102,000 Bitcoin, which just happens to be where another high volume node is at for Bitcoin at $101,000, $102,000. So I think Bitcoin's going to probably peak its head above $100,000, which is also, $100,000 is another psychological level where Bitcoin traders and investors are going to be like, I'm selling my Bitcoin when it gets to $100,000. Or they might be like, you know what, if it gets back to $100,000, I'll go ahead and buy it. Okay, but I think $100,000 is going to be another reaction zone, but we're going to probably peak our head above it and go to $102,000 before we might get like, some significant resistance where people are like, hold up, Bitcoin at $100,000, $102,000, I'm going to sell. Okay, some people are going to probably sell once they see that number show up on their computer screens here. Okay, it's just that way they can say that they sold Bitcoin at $100,000, maybe as like an ego brag or whatever to their friends and family. Like, yeah, I sold Bitcoin at $100,000. But yeah, I think that'll be the next resistance level between 100 and 102 if we continue being bullish. Now, if we for some reason get rejected at this $96,000, $97,000 level, right? We could come down to lower levels here. And where would those lower levels be? Okay. I know I have a lot going on in the chart here. I'll go ahead and get rid of the VRVP for now. We don't really need that anymore in this analysis here. But if I zoom into the 1 hour chart here, okay, I was looking earlier this week at the $92,800 level, which is where Bitcoin kind of like got a reaction yesterday, and also I got a reaction off of that here on Sunday. Okay, 92,800 is very important for us to hold. If we come down there and we break through 92,800, then it's going to be another sharp drop. Okay, and if I go ahead and turn on the VRVP again, okay, you'll see that once we lose like $93,000 and $92,000 over here, okay, we have a gap in the VRVP, and it says that there should be some support at 91K. Okay, so if you're looking for cheaper Bitcoin, you might be lucky enough to buy some at 91K. Also here, there's another high volume node at 90,800. Maybe you might be able to get $90,000 Bitcoin. But if we lose $90,000, okay, then we have another steep gap in the VRVP. And it says that we could see Bitcoin come to $88,000 or even come down to this value area low, this white line, hanging out at like $87,200 Bitcoin. Okay, we might see that in the next few days, next week, if Bitcoin can't hold these levels. Okay, and that's just using the 1 hour chart here, and also using the VRVP, which is a very useful indicator that I like to use. I see I got some people in the TikTok chat here. Luke is asking about Ethereum. Okay, we'll take a look at Ethereum after this. Besho is saying you just worked up Poly Bitcoin looking bullish. Yeah, Bitcoin is looking bullish right now. And it could probably go a little bit higher to surprise some people too, to the upside. I think right now Bitcoin could go to $102,000 before it gets some significant resistance up at that level, if it continues being bullish and going to higher prices here. I'm just giving you some realistic targets here. Obviously, I think Bitcoin's going to go higher than that later on in 2025, but in the next few weeks here, we might see Bitcoin at $100,000 or higher. Okay, it's knocking on the door. It's threatening to go to $100,000. Okay, it's saying, hey guys, don't forget about me. Remember me at 100K? Yeah, I'm about to do that again. Okay, that's what Bitcoin's doing right now. But yeah, let's take a look at the Ethereum now. Okay, I gave you like the bearish targets here for Bitcoin. Bitcoin could come down to 87K if it's not able to hold $92,000 for the most part. Okay, but yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum currently trading at $1,846 right now, up almost 3% today. Ethereum is looking pretty solid right now. It's just tagging along and following Bitcoin to the party, the 100K party right now. And yeah, It's on its way, okay? But if, you know, what we have going here for Ethereum is that we do have the blue line. This point of control is where Ethereum could come back to if it's not going to be bullish. If we got to wait a little bit longer for Bitcoin 100K, then this blue point of control is a very high volume node level here. And that's sitting at about $1,807, $1,800. So yeah, if Ethereum doesn't continue being bullish here, then you might be able to scoop up some Ethereum at $1,800. Okay, but it's very important for Ethereum to hold $1,800 because if it loses $1,800 here, you have a gap in the VRVP here, and then it says that Ethereum could come down to $1,600. All right, I know you guys probably don't want to hear that. You probably want to be like, yeah, let's be bullish. Why are you telling me about $1,600? I'm just saying, like, for those who missed the boat, and if we do get rejected at these levels here, we could see $1,600 Ethereum one more time here, or maybe even a little bit below $1,600. Okay, but if Ethereum continues to be bullish, okay, so stick around. We're gonna talk about the bullish case here. All right, Ethereum has some more resistance at like $1,900. Okay, I do want to see Ethereum eventually get past $1,900 and get above this high that it made here in March 22nd, when we saw Ethereum as high as like $2,100, $2,100. I want to see Ethereum get higher than that. Okay, so that way we know that we are actually making higher highs and not lower highs here. Okay, and then of course we would want to see Ethereum kind of make a higher low at some point, and then try to continue on making higher highs. Now, I do see the 50-day, this green line here, the 50-day moving average, it is coming down, and that might be where Ethereum bumps its head up against. At like 2220 is where this 50-day moving average is sitting at right now. That might be where, that might be the reason why Ethereum creates a higher high, but doesn't go any higher than like $2,200, okay? Because this 50-day moving average is coming down. Somebody out there is eyeballing these charts, and they're gonna look at the 50-day moving average and be like, I'm gonna sell once Ethereum gets to the 50-day moving average. Okay, if they're short-term trading Ethereum. But if Ethereum continues past $2,200, then we have some gaps here in the VRVP, and it's saying that Ethereum should come back up to like $2,700, and $2,700 is also another important level for Ethereum to try and reclaim here, because that's where the 200-day moving average is sitting at, that red line, and also the 100-day moving average, the blue line, is sitting at around like 26.56 right now. So yeah, Ethereum could get some resistance trying to break past that, but once it gets past the 200-day moving average, right, then I would actually be more bullish on Ethereum once it can do that. If it can get past the 200-day moving average at like $2,700, then we got another steep gap here on the VRVP, and it says that the value area high, this white line, Ethereum should come back to $3,200. Okay, and you're almost going to be doubling your money with Ethereum if it does that. Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm looking at for Ethereum. And I see that we got Kevin Dillon in the YouTube chat here. You're asking, is Bitcoin going to close above $96,000? That seems really important. You're not wrong. Yeah, it needs to close above $96,000, preferably $97,000. And as I'm talking right now, we go back to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is getting a little push up here. It's at $96,923 right now. Let's take a look at the 5-minute chart here, okay, and see what's going on. We're gonna zoom in on Bitcoin here. See what the 5-minute chart is showing. Okay, I still got the VRVP here, and according to the VRVP, the value area high is at $97,000. We want to see Bitcoin stay above $97,000 if we're going to be overly bullish here. RSI is actually on the 5-minute chart. It's actually reasonable at like 55.97. So Bitcoin could make another room up to higher prices here. Okay, just based off the 5-minute chart. I'll zoom into the 1-minute chart now. See what the 1-minute chart is showing. If there's any cause for concern. I'll get rid of the VRVP now. we are starting to peak our head above the 200 moving average on the 1 minute chart for Bitcoin. So that's a promising sign here. It has been acting as resistance all throughout this afternoon. We lost the 200 moving average around like 1:30 East Coast time here. All right, and you know that 200-day red line has been acting as resistance so far, but now we're peaking our head above it, and we want to start using it as support going forward. And yeah, maybe towards the end of the day here, we might stay above $97,000 if that answers your question. We gotta first see the 1 minute stay above the 200, and then of course the 5 minute. Looks like we're getting bounces off the 100 moving average here. We want to continue to see that going forward. Going into the 15-minute chart here, we are getting a little bit further away from the other moving averages here, but the 21 EMA on Bitcoin is showing that this 21 EMA might be acting as resistance, but we want to actually flip that and use that as support. So we'll see if Bitcoin gets another leg up here. I think that as more people start coming back home from work right now and looking at the price of Bitcoin, they'll be like, holy crap, I need to get into this thing before it hits 100K, and then I get left out, right? So I feel like we might see like another evening dinner pump here on Bitcoin as people start looking at their phones and looking at their computers and seeing that Bitcoin's at like almost $97,000. It's like really close to being 100 grand right now. All right, but like, looking at the 50-minute chart, I see some on the MACD. I see some selling pressure is starting to die off a little bit, and it looks like we might get a little bit of a pump going in the next hour or two here for Bitcoin. So you guys came on to the live stream just in time to possibly see Bitcoin go above $97,000 and watch it live right here with Damien on the Meet Damien channel. Guys, if you're enjoying this stream so far, don't forget to hit that like button. Let's go ahead and get the amount of likes to match the amount of people that are in the stream right now. I appreciate that. I love you guys for coming out to this live stream and joining me on the charts here to see what we can find for cryptocurrencies here. All right, let's see. Best Show is talking about Bitcoin dominance. You saying that Bitcoin dominance needs to go down for altcoins? Yeah, that might happen. That might happen later on this weekend. I think we might get like a little altcoin rally going on this weekend. Mainly because going back to average people who buy altcoins, regular people like me and you, are buying altcoins, and most people get paid on Friday, right? Which is tomorrow. And what are they going to do? They're going to put some of their extra money, if they're not spending it on beer and chasing women or whatever they do, they're going to probably buy some altcoins after they get their paycheck on Friday. So I'm expecting like an altcoin rally later on this weekend. So I guess we should be looking at some altcoins to see like which ones might pump the hardest going into the weekend. If you guys have any requests for altcoins, let's go ahead and hear them. Best Show saying volume going down in Bitcoin. You want to take a look at Sui? We can take a look at Sui for sure. Yeah. Let's see. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody else's requests here. My TikTok streamers usually keep me busier over here. I got a bigger following on TikTok than I do YouTube. But my YouTube guys, you guys can go ahead and ask for an altcoin or cryptocurrency, or even a stock for that matter. Looks like Grace did say, what about Shiba Inu? All right. And, yeah, I think that's it. So we'll look at Shiba Inu, and then we'll look at Sui. And then just answering your question, Best Show, here about will we ever go back to 72K? Anything is possible, Best Show, but we have a lot of support levels here before we even get back to before we even try to go down to 72K. If you didn't buy some crypto or some Bitcoin over the last few days and weeks here, you might have missed that dip. Yeah, you might have missed that dip, to be honest. Because if Bitcoin does come down, we do have the 200-day moving average at $89,000. That should provide some pretty good solid support. You'll be lucky if you can get Bitcoin below $89,000 at this point, okay? Unless something really bad happens for cryptocurrencies, or something really bad happens in the macro environment. But right now it's looking like we might be getting some trade deals to help push the markets higher. And on top of that, we might be getting interest rates cut maybe even next week. In the next Federal Reserve meeting on Wednesday, we might see an interest rate cut because inflation is coming down. But also even worse is that jobs are going down right now. Unemployment is going up, and the Federal Reserve needs to do something about that and show that they're not going to just leave us hanging out here. But yeah, let's look at Shiba Inu for my friend that made that request there. We got Shiba Inu currently trading at 13.58, up 2.6% today. And what do we got here? What do we got here for Shiba Inu? Shiba Inu, we're looking at the daily chart for Shiba Inu. And Shiba Inu has been beaten down. Okay, we had the little altcoin rally back in December when we saw Shiba Inu as high as like 33, 36. Okay, but we lost roughly, what did we lose? Let me just go ahead and get the info line here. From the top of December down to where we are right now, you lost about 58% of your value with Shiba Inu. Okay. So could Shiba Inu get back up and basically double in price to, double in value from where it is right now? I believe so. Because, we are seeing some higher lows here on the RSI for Shiba Inu after making lower lows on the price. So you already had some bullish divergence showing up on the chart here. Okay, for those who don't know, bullish divergence is you got lower lows on price and you got higher lows on the RSI. Okay, that's divergence there. And you're in the process of bottoming them out here on Shiba Inu, I believe. As you start to climb up to higher prices here, you got some resistance from the 50-day moving average acting as resistance. Then you're probably going to have the 100-day acting as resistance. 100-day is currently sitting at 1764. So that'll probably be my next take profit target for Shiba Inu. I want to see Shiba Inu get above the high that it made here, right here on March 26th when it got as high as like 1567. If we get above 1567, then we know that we're making higher highs on the price, and then we're just looking for a higher low, maybe get some support off the 21 EMA as it acts as support instead of resistance, because you can see that the 21 EMA was acting as resistance while we were coming down on Shiba Inu, but now the 21 EMA might be acting as support as the 21 EMA starts coming back up here. And I would probably, if I'm game planning this, that's like adding into my Shiba Inu position. Anytime you see the price get towards the 21 EMA, I would be a buyer of Shiba Inu. And then you got to be on the lookout for these moving averages that might act as resistance, like the 100-day. I believe like 1700 is going to be the next resistance level for Shiba Inu. And then you got the 200 moving average at 1857. That's probably going to be the next resistance level for Shiba Inu as it tries to climb up to higher prices here. And I'll go ahead and turn the VRVP, see if the VRVP agrees with that. And the VRVP is saying that the point of control, the blue line, is at 1800. I'm sorry, no, actually, it just changed on me a little bit. 1889. So, yeah, that is probably going to be your first take profit on Shiba Inu. Expect it to get rejected a little bit, trade sideways, and then go back to higher prices. And then you got a little bit of resistance at like 2100 from this high volume node here. And then you got the value area high at like, what is that? 2540. That's probably going to be your long-term take profit target on Shiba Inu. And you basically be doubling your money from where you are right now once Shiba Inu gets back up to that white line, the value area high. Kevin's requesting Pepe. Let me go ahead and write that down so I don't forget here. And I think the next one after this is we're going to look at Sui, right? So I got Sui and Pepe. Appreciate the requests. Thank you for making that request. And let me just check to see if anybody else has any requests here from my TikTok guys here. All right, let's see. AIOZ. Okay, I'll get you Ross on AIOZ. And I think that's it for the request right now. All right. So, let's go ahead and take a look at SUI now. SUI is one of those cryptocurrencies that did pretty well past couple of weeks here. Let me go ahead and clean things up here a little bit. All right. We'll look at the VRVP later on. This thing is trading at $3.68, up 5% today. And I'm just looking at the Fibonacci analysis here on SUI, okay? Because we did see SUI get up to like $5.37 after it had a big impulse move back in September where this thing was at like 79 cents for the most part back in September and October. Okay, so this gives us the Fibonacci right here. And the Fibonacci level is saying that SUI has the golden retracement at 0.618 at $3.62. That's kind of like where we're hanging out and chilling out for now. But once SUI does start getting some more bullish momentum going on here, we could see SUI come up to the 0.786 retracement at $4.39. That's the level that I'm eyeballing for SUI if we continue being bullish here. Okay. Of course, we would like to see SUI get back up to $5.37, which it did, you know, in January, early January. But right now, SUI is actually a little bit overheated right now on the RSI. Doesn't mean that it can't stay overheated. It can't stay overbought. But it's very overbought right now. So SUI's probably going to go sideways for the most part. It might continue going, making little higher highs, slightly higher highs going forward here. But we want to see SUI basically continue receiving support off of this 100 moving average, this blue line. Currently sitting at like $3.41. You don't want to see SUI go below that because then that probably means that we're going to go to lower prices, right? And if we do go to lower prices, then you got the 200 moving average, this red line, providing some support, and that could give you a little bit more support at $3.23. That's probably where you want to be a buyer of SUI, okay? Right now, you know, you're gambling for SUI to go higher if you're trying to buy right now and you're trying to buy this green candle. You do not want to buy a green candle, the top of a green candle. This is the daily candles that we're looking at here for SUI. You don't want to be buying right here. You want to see if you could probably get lower than that at like the support area at like $3.40 or even $3.20. Okay. Eventually, this 21 EMA, this white line, is going to curve back up and try to join the price. And when that 21 EMA starts to match up where the price is at, you're going to see an explosive move up to higher prices on SUI. And if SUI does go to explosive higher prices, what I do have here is, you know, I have a bull flag here for SUI, okay? You got the bullish pennant right here. SUI's probably going to go sideways for a little bit, kind of hang out near the 100-day moving average. But when it does start to go to higher prices again, you just take the measured move, which is the flagpole of this flag that we got here, this bull flag. You take that measured move, right? You put it to like where SUI could break out at like $3.68 here. And it's saying that the target should be about that blue number right there, $5.48. So $5.48 could be, yeah, it'd be a new all-time high, and it'd be it makes a lot of sense that SUI could possibly go to that level in the medium term here. But could it go higher than that? It could, yeah, because we got the 1618 Fibonacci level for SUI, saying that SUI could be at $8 crypto sometime later on in 2025. And you basically be doubling your money from where it is right now if you can wait, you know, a little bit longer on SUI. All right. Let's take a look at AIOZ and then Pepe. Hey, Trade Intuition's in the chat, and you think the volume is good. I'm glad to hear that. I feel pretty good about that volume. I'm glad you helped me out the other day and looked at the the volume issue for me, okay, and was able to give me some good instructions here. Guys, I want to show you another good crypto YouTuber here that looks at the charts. His name is Trade Intuition, okay. He's on YouTube here. He's got a pretty good following so far, and yeah, you gotta check out his channel here. He does a lot of videos. He's almost like live streaming almost every single day here, okay. And like maybe like 3 or 4 times a day. Something, it seems like it. Okay, so you definitely gotta catch him if you can, because you might be able to catch him live at any time of the day here. But yeah, let's go back and look at we're gonna look at the AIOZ here. Okay, AIOZ USD. All right, so I have looked at AIOZ before. I have some previous chart work here. Currently trading at $43. Not 43. 43 cents here, up 4.6% today. And what's already like kind of like grabbing my attention on AIOZ is that it's looks like it's currently overbought. It already had its move here. Okay. I'm wondering there's a few gaps here on the chart here. I don't. Let me see if I can find another AIOZ chart that has some better data here. We'll take a look at it on Coinbase. All right, yeah, okay. Coinbase looks a little bit better. AIOZ, like I said, it is currently overbought on the RSI, so watch out for that. Okay, what you're really looking for right now is probably going to go sideways right now for AIOZ. This is like, I believe it's an artificial intelligence cryptocurrency. I'm expecting AIOZ to probably go sideways as it tries to use this 50-day moving average as support, because you're already overbought. Doesn't mean you can't be more overbought. This thing could just explosively move up higher for whatever reason. You know, a whale could come in and be like, I want some more AIOZ and I want it now. And then this thing could probably go up to like the 200-day moving average at like 59 cents. Okay, but I'm expecting, realistically speaking, with this RSI being as high as it is, and also just look at the buying pressure. Buying pressure kind of dying down a little bit. You have green candles, but now they're turning light green. I'm expecting this thing to go sideways for a little bit, but you know, how long could it go sideways for? Once this 21 EMA, right? I'm extending it a little bit here. And let me just get rid of these other lines here so I don't confuse you guys. Okay. Once that white line starts to catch up to where the price is at 43 cents, you're probably going to see another explosive move up on AIOZ, okay? And I'm just expecting AIOZ to just basically do a bull flag here for now, okay? And just go sideways until that white line, that 21 EMA, basically catches up to price. And you just measure this. We got a little bit of a flagpole going on here for AIOZ, okay? And if you're using bull flags and chart pattern analysis, and you just put this measure move to like where AIOZ could break out at 43 cents. The measure move is about 62, 63 cents. So yeah, basically the 200-day moving average is probably going to act as resistance, and that's going to be your next take profit level for AIOZ. Okay, in the near term here. But as I start to zoom out here some more, okay, I do see we could probably get up to like 80 cents. I see some sideways trading action at that level there for AIOZ. So I would probably say that this thing could probably double. And that'd be a good take profit target area. And then anything after that, you're asking for a lot. But maybe you might see $1.20 maybe on AIOZ. I would definitely start taking profits at 80 cents though, as this thing continues out. You know, just do some dollar cost averaging out on your cryptocurrencies here. All right, we'll take a look at Pepe now, right? And then let me see if there's any more requests from my TikTok guys here. Dwight talking about that looks like a lifer flag. Yeah, like the crypto lifer, he likes to basically create and come out with bull flags. He likes to like game plan things out as to like what the next move might be. Doesn't mean it's gonna play out that way, but you know it is a way to figure what might be coming next. Okay, if you're trying to predict the future here on your asset, whatever asset you're looking at. Mark Skeleton says XRP. All right, I'll add that. We'll probably look at that after Pepe. The Pepe request did come in before the XRP, so yeah, we will look at XRP. And I think now is a good time to actually look at XRP, because every time I talk about XRP in the beginning of the stream, I always get someone that comes in towards the end or towards the middle of the stream, and they're like, "Hey, can you look at XRP?" And I'm like, we looked at that like 20 minutes ago. But yeah, I appreciate the requests, and I'll look at it, and hopefully I might not get any more XRP requests because we're in the middle of the stream here. And yeah, I think you know, the beginning of the stream is just too early for me to talk about XRP. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Pepe now, and then we'll look at XRP. Okay. Pepe started trading on Coinbase in November. Let me see if I can get more data than that. We'll look at another exchange here. Pepe on Bitstamp. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So here we are. We're looking at Pepe currently trading at 880, down 0.79% today. Pepe not really getting any love today, huh? That's interesting. What could be the reason? Why is Pepe not, you know, with Bitcoin? Is Bitcoin at $97,000 right now, guys? Oh, it's a little bit below that. Yeah, 96,700. But yeah, Pepe's just is respecting the resistance from the 50-day moving average is what I'm seeing. I can see that right off the chart, right off the bat here. This green line, right? It's coming down. And it's acting as resistance. Okay. Also, we did have a high here in March 26th where we saw Pepe get as high as like 918. Okay. It's probably why Pepe's kind of chilling at that level right now. All right. We're trying to turn this resistance into support right now. We did see Pepe get as high as like 979 on Saturday, but it's just chilling out right now. Chilling out for the most part. When this 21 EMA starts coming up to higher prices here, and it starts to get up to like the same price level as Pepe is, I'm expecting Pepe to try to shoot up to higher prices here. Once that 21 EMA catches up. Right now the 21 EMA is at 806 on the daily time frame here. And once we start seeing that 21 EMA at the levels that we're at right now, I'm expecting another leg up here on Pepe. And I mean, if this is the beginnings of a bull flag here, then we can kind of figure out where the price might go using trend analysis and chart patterns here. Measure the impulse move, right? That's your flag pull. That's the pull of the flag. You take the measure move, you put it to like where we could break out here at 880 or 900 on Pepe. And it's saying that short term there should be a move up to about 1093 here on Pepe. Okay. Now, let's just try to get some confluence here to see if anything else agrees with that number there. Let's go ahead and turn the VRVP. Does the VRVP show any high volume nodes at that level? VRVP is showing, you know, the high volume node is actually kind of like where we're at right now. That's providing resistance at 900 and 1000. Okay. And then the volume starts to drop off. Once we get past 1100 on Pepe, you got the volume dropping off, and then you might see Pepe get some more resistance at like 1240. which I believe will be where the 100-day moving average will be at, and also the 200-day moving average. So then once this thing gets up to the 100-day and 200-day, expect some resistance. You should probably start selling your Pepe, okay, if you're short-term trading it. But once you get past like where the value area high is at like 1300, man, where else could Pepe go after that? I see another high volume node at like 2050. So Pepe could possibly double from where it is right now. And when it does, I would probably start taking profits. Yeah, I mean, I would start taking profits once it gets to 1200. But yeah, you just dollar cost average out as you go up to like 2000 on Pepe here. All right, moving on to XRP. And I still got the VRVP here showing. And I kind of feel like a broken record looking at Ripple and XRP because I look at it almost every day. I'm always getting somebody requesting it. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at Ripple for the 1 millionth time here. And you see that Ripple is currently trading at $2.20 right now. I want to see Ripple. Let me just get rid of the moving average real quick here. I want to see Ripple get above the highs here that it made here towards late March, where we saw Ripple at $2.59. Once Ripple could get above $2.60, you're starting to create higher highs now rather than lower highs, okay? Because remember, Ripple could still make a lower high. If we continue going lower here, for whatever reason, this could just be considered a lower high, and then you're kind of, you know, in trouble trying to make a bullish case here. But once you get past $2.60, right? It's gonna be probably a quick trip to $3, like Ripple did back in the beginning of March here, where we saw Ripple go from like $2.17 up to $3 in one day. I believe that's possible because if I turn on the VRP here, you're gonna see a drop in the VRVP volume here, a big gap, and you don't really get any resistance until like $3.13. So Ripple could surprise people to the upside here as well, okay? If it ever makes it past 260, okay? And 260 is kind of pretty important because you got the moving averages that will provide resistance. You know, whether you use moving averages or not, other people do. And right now, you know, you have the 100-day at like 241, and you got the 200-day at like 238. So those will probably be the first resistance levels that Ripple needs to break. It needs to get past $2.40. And then we'll see how it handles itself at 240 going into 260. And once it chips away at that resistance, like I said, you know, there's not that much stopping Ripple from going to $3. And it will probably do that faster than you could say, holy crap. All right, I got a request here for Gala. Let me go ahead and write that down. All right. And let me see if I get any more requests here. Oh, I see you trade intuition. You're on TikTok now. You got me on both YouTube and TikTok. That's awesome. All right. Let's see. Yep. So we got Gala. And then what else? Let's see. I think that's it for now for the request, right? Yeah, all right. So we'll just look at Gala for now. And then I want to show you guys a cryptocurrency that I'm kind of eyeballing, or I've been looking at. I'll take a look at a couple of cryptos that I'm looking at that are interesting in my eyes. And then yeah, we got like a few more cryptocurrencies to look at here. Let's start off with Gala, and then we'll go into one that I want to look at. Okay, here we go. We're looking at Gala USD. This is on Binance Exchange. Currently at a little less than 2 pennies, 0.017 pennies here. Let me get rid of the VRVP here real quick. As I sought to zoom in and familiarize myself with this chart here. Gala, right? It looks like it's trying to bottom out here, right? We're starting to see higher RSI here. This is interesting because this could have been a higher low, but it wasn't. Okay, but yeah, obviously this thing was making lower lows, and we were starting to get higher lows here on the RSI, and then for some reason we around April 7th, when the markets were panicking about tariffs, it brought the RSI down, so we lost that bullish divergence that we were creating here on Gala. Okay, it was looking more like this before we had that little dip right there. Okay, but yeah, bullish divergence is great because that lets you know that you're getting some buyers to step in and buy at these low prices here, and that this could be bottoming out. So I think Gala is trying to bottom out. Now we want to see Gala start making higher highs here. The last local high was about what here on Wednesday, March 26th. We got as high as 0.019 pennies, so that's the high water mark that we need to beat. And here on April 26th, we got 0.018. So we haven't officially made a higher high yet on the daily time frame for Gala. Doesn't mean that we won't. It means that we just haven't done it yet. Okay, but I think Gala should come up to higher prices, and if it does, you're probably gonna get that resistance on the 50-day moving average at 0.019 pennies. So I think there's gonna be some good resistance at like 0.019 and a half pennies for Gala here. Okay, you're gonna have to chew through that resistance before you can go to higher prices. But if you make it past that that local high here and also past the 50-day moving average, then you got some room to breathe here, and you could probably make a run for the 200-day moving average at like 2.5 pennies. Okay. Now let me just turn on the VRVP here real quick, see if there's any resistance that we might have missed. Okay. And yeah, okay. So point of control, very important. This thing, if it does go to higher prices, it will probably get a resistance at like the blue line here at 0.022 pennies. Okay. And once it makes it past that, then it's a steep drop in the VRVP here. And then high volume node is sitting at 0.028 pennies, which is basically where the 100 and 200 moving average is sitting at. So yeah, I think those are your price targets for Gala in the near term, and then anything else is gravy. But if you're able to get that gravy, then you got a gap here in the VRVP. This thing could come up to 3.5 cents before it gets more resistance, and then another gap, and then the value area high, that white line is sitting at 4 cents. I would realistically start selling most of my Gala at that point, because you're basically going to double whatever money you put into a Gala at that point. Okay, and then you just got to make the determination, and do you hold on to Gala and try to see if it goes to higher prices? I would try to sell something after it doubles, right? But let me just get rid of the VRVP real quick. What I don't like about Gala though is, yeah, you had an altcoin season in March of 2024 where this thing got as high as like 7 cents, but and this last altcoin season that we had in December, it just created a lower high. So I don't know about that. Is it going to make another lower high and just top out at like 4 cents instead of like 6 or 7 cents like it did in December? I don't know. But I'd be that's something just to be cautious about. I would definitely start selling at 4 cents because you doubled your money at that point. All right, let's take a look at another crypto that I actually, got into today, that I've been eyeballing for about a week or two here. And this is Hive Mapper Honey cryptocurrency, currently trading at 3 cents. And this crypto Has been in a downtrend. Well, probably ever since it's been on Coinbase, it's been in a downtrend. This thing was high as 28 cents in January 2024, right after the altcoin season that we had around that time. So this thing's been down, down, down. It had a little bit of a rally here in December, where it got as high as like 11 cents, roughly 14 cents actually, on December 5th. But as I start to zoom in, what makes me feel better about Hive Mapper Honey, okay, is that we're starting to see some bullish divergence forming here on the chart. You got higher lows, right, that are starting to be formed here after you just made lower lows here on price, okay? So the bullish divergence is starting to come into play, which means that this thing could be bottoming out. Was nice to see that Hive Mapper did get a nice impulse move here on like Saturday, this past Saturday, where it went up like 42% in one day. Okay, so hello, somebody saw this thing and decided to throw their hat in the ring. Okay, but it got rejected off of this 50-day moving average. It actually went a little bit past that 50-day moving average, but it treated it as resistance, right? So obviously, you know, these lines aren't there for no reason. That was the resistance, and this thing has come down. And look at this. The last few days here, you had a pretty solid red candle on Sunday when this thing came down 20%. Then on Monday, it came down 5%. Tuesday, another 5%. All right. And we're still going down on this cryptocurrency. But I'm expecting this 21 EMA, as it starts curving up, I'm expecting the 21 EMA to be respected as a support area. Okay, so I actually dipped my toes into Hive Mapper. I didn't really go full tilt and buy everything that I was putting to buy on this thing. I just dollar cost average. I bought a little bit of a Hive Mapper today, you know, about like 25% of what I was planning on buying. And as this thing comes down, right, or it gets shows some support here on the 21 EMA, I want to be buying some more. I put my stop loss right here at like 2 cents, right? And you're only going to be losing about roughly 33% on that stop loss, okay? But if we go down to 2 cents, right, then that probably means that we're still in the downtrend on this crypto. And do you really want to continue losing more money, waiting for this thing to actually go to higher prices? I think that this thing is done going down, especially if Bitcoin is going up back to like $100,000. I can't see why this thing is just going to go down to like 2 pennies, but it's always a possibility, right? But I think, you know, if you're looking for a relatively cheap crypto to get into that has some potential here and a use case, you should go look up Hive Mapper. It actually has a use case, okay? Drivers are using it to like map out cities and traffic, and they get paid in Hive Mapper coin, okay? You should look it up. Yeah, I think this coin right here, okay, is bottoming out and has a lot of potential to go up to higher prices. And if it does, you know, the resistance right now, once it gets past the 50-day at like 4 cents, you got resistance at like 5 cents, okay? So you can almost double your money just getting back to where the 200-day moving average is at, okay? And then if I zoom out some more and I put on the VRVP, okay, you got the value area high sitting at like almost 9 cents. So this thing could basically triple before it decides to take a break and chill. Okay. So that's a cryptocurrency that, you know, disclaimer, I got some right now. Okay. But yeah, it's on my radar, and I want to be adding some more if I can. Instead of, like, you know, the other high flyers like Zoe and Solana, like this is one that you don't really hear about, but you can buy it on Coinbase though, and it's got some potential here in my eyes. All right, let's see. Do I have any other more requests here? If not, I'm gonna look at another cryptocurrency that I've been eyeballing here as well. Okay, we got Theta. Shah wants to look at Theta. And do I have any other more requests? I think that's it for now. Yeah, okay. Let me get a swig of water here. Guys, if you're loving the live stream here, please go ahead and show some love back by clicking that like button. So that way YouTube knows that I got a pretty good stream going on here, and TikTok also knows that as well. And if you're new to my live streams here and you're on TikTok, go ahead and hit that follow button. And if you're new on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And we're looking at the theta now. That was the request. Okay. All right, as I get rid of the VRVP, and let's see, we got the RSI ready to go. This thing is currently trading at 76 cents, up 3% today. Theta actually looks like it's could be bottoming out here. Got some potential to run up here. Just eyeballing it as I get familiar with the chart here. Looking at the RSI here, RSI looks like it was creating a little bit of bullish divergence, so that's good to see. Okay, as part of bottoming out on the charts. So we're just game planning things out here as like swing traders in the altcoin market here. We're trying to find coins that look like this. Okay, bottoming out, bullish divergence, buyers stepping up to the plate. Okay. Then, of course, you can always do more research on like coinmarketcap.com to become familiar with these coins here and find out what they actually do and what their use case might be. But yeah, looking at Theta Coin, right? You got the bullish divergence starting to play out here. And all you're waiting for right now is this thing going to be going into a bull trend? And the only way you're gonna know that this is in a bull trend is you got to get above this last recent high here that it made at about $1.03 here. So that's going to be, you can just mark it on the chart here. You want to see Theta get above this level here at $1.03. Okay, that's how you know you're making higher highs roughly. And then of course, you're looking for higher lows, and then you want to see this thing basically, go to higher prices, right? Come down, make a higher low, and then break past $1.03 to higher prices. And if it does go to higher prices, where could the next resistance be? Well, I can say that, $1.03 is probably where the resistance is going to be, because that 50-day moving average looks like it's screaming down, and that's probably going to be the first resistance level. And then once you get past $1.03 on this crypto, then you got a gap in the VRVP, and then the next like significant resistance level. Oh man, let me get rid of that. The next significant resistance level is going to be right here at like $1.39, according to the VRVP here, $1.36, $1.39, and that'll probably be like that. The reason why that might be the case going forward is that look at the 200 and the 100. The 200 and 100 are starting to come down. And that's probably by the time the price catches up to the 200 and the 100, they're probably going to say hi to each other at like $1.39, and that's going to be your resistance. And that should be your next take profit target after you get past $1.03. Okay. Now once you get past $1.03, okay, you got another high volume node here. The value area high, this white line sitting at $1.93. All right, not easy to remember. Not a psychological number like $2, but basically $1.93 is where a good majority of people were buying this crypto at all throughout like January and November and December of 2024 here. Okay, so yeah, I would be ready to see that these people who want to break even, they're probably going to start selling at $2. But yeah, this crypto, if it does get to $2, you basically got a double. And I feel like a lot of these cryptocurrencies here, guys, I feel like a lot of these cryptos are going to double in value because they lost 50% of their value since like December and January. So there's going to be some easy doubles here on a lot of these cryptocurrencies. And I feel like Theta token is going to be one of them. All right. let's see, we talked about Theta. Let's look at another crypto that I've been eyeballing. I missed it. It actually went up today, pretty good. And that's Aerodrome Finance. Okay, this one's up 16% today. I saw it as high as like up 24% earlier today. I'm like, yo, what the hell? I missed the move. All right, I'm looking at Trade Intuition said he had a question for me. Do you trade New York, Asia, or London? And do you have a certain time you trade? I think the New York session is pretty crazy. Trade Intuition, if you're still in the chat here. But it's the one where money goes in, right? It's, you know, the New York trading session, it starts at like, you know, around like what, 8 a.m. and goes to like 4 p.m. And that just, we always get the economic reports at like 8 a.m. or 8:30 a.m. You know, like unemployment numbers or CPI data, or whatever, like 8:30 East Coast time, and then 10 o'clock East Coast time. And I just feel like that's where the big money starts pouring money into crypto and whatnot. So it's good to be trading during the New York session, and I do trade the New York session. But I actually like the Asia session, and I like trading at night because I feel like it's a little bit more calmer and not as volatile, which is not really that great for day trading because you want that volatility. But I feel like things are a little bit more predictable during the nighttime hours. So I actually do like Asia trading hours, and I like London better than New York. Even though New York trading session, you can actually make more money, I feel like, because of all the volatility going on during the New York trading session. And I got off track there, but I was answering that question there for Trade Intuition there. So yeah, let's go back to Aerodrome Finance. We're looking at the Aerodrome now at 70 cents. And like I said, this thing up 16% today. Let me just zoom in here. You see we had a nice green candle here. This thing got as high as like 74 cents earlier today. Man, I was eyeballing this. I was hoping that this thing would come down to the 21 EMA at like 50 cents here. This white line, okay? And I was gonna try to scoop up some Aerodrome Finance because I think this thing could have done the 4x from the 50-cent level. I think this crypto could be a $2 crypto, like it did back in December of 2024 here. Okay. I'm still waiting for a pullback. You know, this thing was already starting to do like a bull flag here, right? I was eyeballing this the last few days here, and it never hit 50 cents like I thought it would. It came down to 57 cents yesterday. Actually, no, it came down to like 56 cents yesterday. And I was like, should I buy some? And of course, someone made the decision like, oh yeah, I'm going to buy some and screw Damien. And this thing is shooting up out of the bull flag. And so now you got to wonder, like, where's this thing going to go next? If you take the measured move here, where we're breaking out at like 60 cents, the measured move is saying that this thing could go up to 88 cents in the near term here. And that's probably like going to be because we're going to get resistance from the 100-day moving average. This blue line is going to probably provide resistance at 88, 89 cents. So yeah, I think this thing is going to go to 90 cents here soon. And then you got some more resistance at the 200-day moving average sitting at $1.03. So that could also be the next take profit target and resistance level. So yeah, I wasn't expecting Bitcoin to go to $97,000 a day and cause this thing to go up as well. But yeah, Aerodrome Finance is looking pretty good on the charts here. Now it's starting to become overbought. You got the RSI sitting at like 72, and we saw like 71 on Saturday. But I think, you know, maybe I was just being a little bit too cheap, and I should have just bought some at like 57 cents. If this thing comes down to like probably like 60 cents, I probably might throw my hat in the ring here. Yeah, if it comes back to the 50-day moving average at 63 cents here, I might have to try to scoop some up at that area now. All right, and 63 cents isn't as bad as what it was yesterday when it was at like 57 cents. It's only like off by like 6 cents. But yeah, if this thing does start moving up to higher prices here, let's turn on the VRVP here real quick, see what the resistance might be. It's saying that the value area high is at $1.10, so yeah, this thing probably wants to go back to $1. And then you're not gonna get the next high volume node until like $1.39, and then you're probably gonna get the next significant resistance level until like $1.89, $1.90. So this thing is still double or triple from where it is right now. Porky's in the chat. Okay. Porky is saying 4-hour RSI makes me think this could be a liquidity grab. I think I saw you say that in your Discord. Let me go ahead and show guys my Discord. Guys, I have a Discord as well. The Meet Damien Discord channel, where you'll see you might want to come join it. Or ask for the link and I'll be able to send it to you. And then you come join the Discord. You'll know when I go live. I usually post when I'm going live on the Discord here. And yeah, you know, ask me questions, interact with me a little bit. I think I saw Porky was saying something here on his Discord, and he was talking about yeah, there you are. Big BTC looks like crap on the 4-hour. Looks like a lot like a liquidity grab. He said that like 3 o'clock this afternoon. I told you I was going live around that time. Okay. And then yeah, Porky's eyeballing 102K as the resistance level for Bitcoin as well. Okay. Yeah, that's I would agree with you on that, Porky. 102K looks like the next stop for this Bitcoin bull run if we continue being bullish here. You guys talking about getting some sleep? Oh man, yeah, it's just good to get on a schedule here. You don't want to miss out on some good sleep if you can. Take a nap if you need to. All right, let's see. I got a request here for dog with hat. And then what else? What do we got here? We want to look at NCT. All right, we'll take a look at dog with hat and NCT. Guys, I gotta be careful with these meme coins here because I feel like TikTok is very strict on meme coins, and like if I gotta go look at the meme coin on Dex Screener, then I'm staying away from that. Okay. But we'll look at dog with hat. And if I lose you guys, it's because TikTok doesn't want me talking about meme coins. Sorry to say that. Then you just have to look at my YouTube live stream. And yeah, if you want to continue watching me on the live here. And yeah, you know what? Let me give another promotion here for myself, guys. If let's see. If you guys want to catch me on YouTube here, you'll see all of my content, my live streams, short form and long form content on the Meet Damien YouTube channel here. Okay. And if I get banned on TikTok or suspended or whatever, you can come see me on YouTube. All right. All right. Let's get back to it here. We're looking at dog with hat now. Dog with hat. Currently trading at 62 cents. Look at the VRVP here. Point of control. This blue line is sitting at like 55 cents. And then look at this. We can run up real hard and real fast on dog with hat. Mainly because we came down really hard and fast. But we got a big gap in the VRVP on dog with hat. And you might get a little bit of resistance at $1. Like psychological dollar. The $1 level. Okay, has a little bit of a volume node there, and even like $1.20, and that makes sense because $1.20 you're basically gonna double your money with dog with hat. if it gets to $1.20 from where it is right now. But the significant volume node here is at $1.55 for dog with hat. Okay, and that coincides. I'm looking for confluence here, right? I'm looking for something that agrees with the price level. I don't want to just look at one indicator and be like, oh yeah, that's $1.55. You're good to go. No, $1.55 kind of corresponds to like where the 200 moving average is sitting at. The 200 moving average is sitting at like $1.57. So $1.57 is probably going to be the next long-term take profit target on dog with hat. Okay, short-term wise, I do see the 50 moving average providing resistance right now. We're literally right now at 61 cents. Okay, and then the 100 moving average could provide some resistance at $1.15. That's probably corresponds to like the psychological dollar level, is where some people might start selling their dog with hat. But realistically speaking, 200-day moving average at like $1.57, $1.58 with that high volume node at $1.57, $1.58. That's your medium to long term take profit target on dog with hat. And then look at this. This thing then drops down on the volume again. Got maybe like $2 psychological level. Could be another resistance level. But the value area high, that white line, is saying that dog with hat should be getting resistance at $2.48. And you should have sold something by that point, because you basically got a 4x right there with dog with hat. Okay? So that's what I'm seeing with dog with hat going forward here. Alrighty, let's go ahead and take a look at what was the other crypto? Someone said something else besides dog with hat. I gotta look back here. I kind of forgot. NCT. Okay, NCT. Let's take a look at the NCT here. Guys, I want to know what your thoughts are. Is the Federal Reserve going to cut interest rates next week? Because they do have a meeting coming up, and I feel like they might if unemployment goes up tomorrow. We're gonna have to look at the unemployment numbers going into tomorrow morning and see how that affects the markets here. But if the unemployment's going up and inflation's going down, by God, they better give us something. Throw us a little bone here and cut interest rate. They don't have to go cut by like 2% percentage points, okay? 200 basis points. They could just cut, 25 basis points just to make sure, like, hey, they're on the job here. They're actually trying to be helpful here. But anyways, that was my little rant there. Guys, go ahead and let me know what you think what's going to happen with the Federal Reserve next week. Are they going to cut interest rates? Are they not going to cut interest rates? But yeah, we're looking at NCT Polyswarm, currently trading at 2 cents. Up slightly, not even 0.05%, pretty much flat for the day. I got, as you guys know, I got the VRVP showing here that the point of control, the blue line, is sitting at 2.5 cents. That's probably where NCT Polyswarm wants to go next as it continues going to higher prices. This is very interesting on the RSI. I really never seen like this big drop and then boom, a spike here. Ugh, okay, interesting. Polyswarm, right on the RSI is at 54.8, so it does have the juice to go to higher prices here because it's not overbought and it's not oversold either. It's just in neutral territory. But yeah, I think point of control at 2.5 cents should be your next take profit target, near term take profit target on Polyswarm. And just look, the 50 moving average is coming down. That's going to be acting as resistance. Don't think it won't. It will. Someone will sell because they see the 50 moving average coming down on them, and that's also about 2.5 cents as well for Polyswarm. So I'm expecting near term 2.5 cents is your first take profit target on Polyswarm as we go to higher prices. Then you might see the 200-day moving average act as some resistance at 0.027 pennies. And then you even got the 100 moving average might act as resistance at like roughly just under 3 pennies at 0.029 pennies. But as you start climbing up to higher prices here for Polyswarm, you do have the the value area high sitting at about roughly almost 3.5 cents. That should be your medium to long-term take profit target on Polyswarm as we go to higher prices. And then this thing kind of, the volume even dips down even more on this cryptocurrency on the VRVP here scale here. Wow. I mean, we did see what? We saw this thing as high as 11 cents back in on January. Yeah, January 7th. This thing could possibly be a 5x if it can ever get back to that price again. See, has it ever been at 11 cents before that? Back in 2022, we saw Polyswarm at 11.5 cents roughly in January of 2022. So you're really hoping that it could get back to 11 cents. Yeah. That would be your, you better be selling 90% of your Polyswarm because you basically 5x your money if it gets up to like 10 or 11 cents here. But realistically speaking, I'm expecting that value area high to be your take profit target. 3.5 cents should be where you should start selling your Polyswarm if you haven't already. Everything else after that is just gravy. Alright, let's see. Pudgy Penguins. Yeah, I could probably do that for you, CryptoStar. CryptoStar, if you're new to the live stream, don't forget to hit the follow button on TikTok here so you can see my next live stream show up on your feed. But yeah, let's look at Pudgy Penguins for you. Those are some crazy price targets there, Jordan. I wish you the best of luck trying to sell Polyswarm for over $1. $1.44. I wish you the best of luck on that. I don't know if that's going to happen. You might have to wait a little bit longer than most people can afford to wait for. Let's look at Pudgy Penguins. Let's see, Pudgy Penguin is trading at about a penny right now, down 3.5%. And I got the VRVP showing here. I got data going back to like, this is going back to like February, about a couple of months ago. You got your point of control currently where you're at right now. Actually, no, you're not at the point of control. This thing is, I probably need to look at another chart here, to be honest with you. I don't think I'm getting all the data here for Pudgy Penguins. Let's see what it looked like on Mexi. Okay, a little bit more data here, but yeah, this thing is a relatively brand new cryptocurrency. Came out in like December of 2024. And let me just zoom in here a little bit. Okay, so yeah, point of control according to this since it first came out on Mexi, point of control is at 0.006 pennies. So you're above the POC. If this thing does go down for whatever reason, you got the point of control and you also got the 21 EMA hanging out at like 7,180. I think that's like a 30% drop from where you are right now. So just be careful. If this thing does come down, it could come down 30% on you. Another reason to be careful on this is that this thing has been overbought the last few days here. When we saw an RSI of like 76 on Saturday. Right now the RSI is at 70.62. Anytime the RSI is above 70, that's considered overbought. So this thing is still overbought on the daily time frame here. But, you know, it could stay overbought, right? And if it decides to stay overbought, then where could it go next? We would all like to know, right? Okay, so the next high volume node here is about penny and a half. That could be where Pudgy Penguins gets some resistance here. But I don't really have that much data after that, because then after that, I mean, after a penny and a half, you got a gap in the VRVP here. And then you have the value area high at like 0.023 pennies. So this thing could also double. Like I said, a lot of these cryptocurrencies, altcoins and meme coins, I believe they all can double. And there's also a possibility that Bitcoin itself could double and go to 200 grand if things get really crazy in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency world. Okay. So this might be a good time to start buying some of these coins here. Okay. It seems like the best time was the beginning of April, if that was the low that we've seen in the markets here. But here we are at the beginning of May, and there's still some coins that could probably go up higher here. And I think Pudgy Penguins could do that for you. Like I said, a value area high at 0.023 pennies. You're basically doubling your money. And then anything after that is just gravy, right? Because we have seen this thing trade. We do have a high volume node here at like 3.5 pennies. So 3.5 pennies is where it was trading at back in January and December of last year. So yeah. Could be a 3.5 or a 4x for you too. But I just think, yeah, if this thing does come down, right, your bearish target is where the 21 EMA and the POC is crossing at like 0.0006 pennies. And I'll even do a fib analysis here just to see what the deep retracement might be on that. Yeah, saying that the 0.0069 pennies, 69 for you guys. 0.0069 pennies is the 0.236 retracement level. And that makes sense. That's right where the 21 EMA is at, and that's also where the VRVP is at. So yeah, this thing could come down to like 0.007 pennies, or 0.0069 pennies. But if it's a little bit more bullish than that, then the pullback might actually just bring you down to the 50 moving average, and the 50 moving average is sitting at 0.0087 pennies, and you got another high volume node there as well. Okay, so you might not be lucky enough to get your buy order filled in at 0.0069. All right, let's see. Appreciate the follow there, Voss. Guys, don't forget to hit that follow button, and don't forget to hit the like button so we can get more people to come join the stream here. I just sent an invitation here to Porky. See if Porky wants to join me as a guest. All right. I think we covered a lot of good cryptos here, guys. Is there any requests for a stock? We can look at stocks too. All right, let's see how Bitcoin's actually doing, because that is the top dog, the one that's going to dictate where we go next here, for the most part. Bitcoin is coming down from where I first started the live stream. We saw Bitcoin as high as like $96,900. It was threatening $97,000 again. All right. Let me get rid of the VRVP. We already talked about how like Bitcoin is at the point of control at $96,000, and if it continues higher, then we could see it come up to $102,000, which is the next high volume node, and then even come up as high as like $105,000, $106,000 if it continues being bullish after that. Let me get rid of the VRVP here real quick. Okay, I'll even get rid of the moving average here real quick too. Just game planning things out here. If this is what we would call a bull flag for Bitcoin, then Bitcoin is going to look something like this, right? As I draw out this flag here. And you just take that measure, move the flagpole, you put it to like where we're breaking out right now, out of the flag. And this is saying that we could see $107,000 Bitcoin in the future here. So that's interesting, right? And if I turn on the VRVP, it also says that the high volume node, there's a high volume node at like $105,000. But it all depends on where I zoom out here. If I zoom out here, it's going to change the VRVP here again. Yeah. But value area high is at like $106,000 for Bitcoin. And then you also got this trend analysis chart pattern from the bull flag saying $106,000. So, you know, I know people are going to be eyeballing $102,000 Bitcoin because you got a Fibonacci analysis saying that, and you also got high volume VRVP saying that, but also you got the value area high saying $106,000 Bitcoin. And then you got this bull flag saying $106,000, $107,000 Bitcoin could be coming up next. Yeah, TX, Jeff, we already talked about XRP. I think we talk about XRP every single day. Okay, XRP needs to get past $2.50, and then it's going to go right to $3 in short time. And then long term, you know, XRP could be a $5 crypto in my opinion later on in 2025. All right, let's kind of like look at what's going on with Bitcoin on like the 5-minute time frame here, because I thought we were going to see like kind of like a, you know, a get out of work, go buy some crypto pump here, as people get out of work and they can actually go on a computer and not get in trouble by their boss. They can actually buy some crypto and buy some Bitcoin right now. I thought that might have pumped up Bitcoin a little bit here. We were kind of getting at a little bit of a pump here at like 4:30, about an hour ago. Or like a little bit after I went live here. But yeah, Bitcoin is kind of like ping-ponging back and forth here. Let me get rid of the VRVP. I don't need that no more. Excuse me. Someone might be viewing this as a double top or even like lower highs here on the 5-minute time frame. That's not fun, because that probably means we're gonna go lower then. And if we do go lower on Bitcoin, let's see what the moving averages are showing here. We might see the 200 moving average provide support at $96,100 for my day traders that are day trading Bitcoin, which kind of corresponds to like this level here earlier at like 9:55 a.m. We saw Bitcoin at like $95,800. So I would put probably stop loss right here, hoping that we continue on with this bull run here on Bitcoin to higher prices here. Let's see what the MACD is showing. We got buying pressure dying down. Might get a little bit more selling pressure. So we might be just kind of hanging out in the 100 moving average on the 5-minute time frame for now. Let's take a look at the 15-minute now. Am I getting any good data here? Anything useful here? 15-minute is showing that the selling pressure that we've seen that started around like 1 o'clock this afternoon is starting to die down. So I'm expecting, like, if this continues maintaining the trend on the MACD here, we might get like a MACD flip. Okay, we might get this like MACD flip and get some buying pressure showing up around 8 o'clock tonight, which is right around when the daily candle closes. We might see some fireworks for Bitcoin, maybe. I don't know. We could see Bitcoin going past 97,000, trying to go up to like 99 or 100,000 later on tonight. I'm just game planning things out here, looking at the charts, trying to predict the future here. But yeah, we are, you know, getting some bearish divergence here on Bitcoin on the 15-minute time frame here. Just means that we're probably going to go sideways for now. So place your bets accordingly. Are we going to go sideways and then go down? Or are we going to go sideways and then go up? All I know is that Bitcoin is most likely going to go sideways until 8 o'clock tonight. Maybe even like, it could even go sideways till like 10 o'clock before something happens here, whether we go up or down. But right now, I like the fact that the selling pressure is dying down, and we could get some buying pressure later on tonight. All right. Let's see. You hit your stop loss on what? What did you hit your stop loss on? And let's see. XRP ETF. What, do you want me to take a look at the ETF for XRP? Or is that a different stock? And then you got this, you're asking me, Jeff here, you're asking Ethereum 2x leverage? That's interesting. All right, let's, I'll take a look at XRP. Let's see what that shows. That's interesting. All right. Excuse me. This is an ETF. And I'm not sure how to pronounce the name there. It's a Ethereum 2x long XRP ETF. So this is like an XRP ETF. Is there any more information I can get here? It says that XRP aims to deliver twice the daily returns of XRP through XRP-related investments like future agreements, futures, and options through a Cayman Islands subsidiary. Okay, all right. So if you guys are interested in buying XRP, but you don't want to do it on a cryptocurrency exchange and you want to do it on your stock market account, you could probably try and do this here on this asset here called XRP. And this thing is trading at $32.82 right now. And let me go into the daily time frame here, see what I have here. This is a relatively new ETF here. There's not that much data. And it's showing that this thing started trading on April 8th. Right after like the crash in the market that we had in the beginning of April. That's interesting. Oh, Chewy's in here. Chewy, you want me to take a look at ARB? Hell yeah, we can do that. I'll take a look at ARB for you. We'll look at XRP, which is interesting because this is like an ETF that tracks the price of XRP, but with like 2x leverage. And yeah, this thing, I don't have much data on it. I can't really analyze it. I could probably maybe analyze it on the 15-minute maybe. But there's really not that much data. Look at this. Like, it gaps up, gap down. It's very thinly traded here, in my opinion. And you're just holding on to the you're trying to hold on to the 200 moving average on the 15-minute. Let's see what the 1 hour looks like. Yeah, I don't even have moving averages on the 1 hour. I can't really do much with this thing. Besides just maybe look at the indicators here, and the 1 hour looks fine on the RSI. MACD looks like you're starting to get a little bit of buying pressure on this ETF here. 4 hour? Yeah, I don't even have any data on the 4 hour. 5 minute maybe? Yeah. This is interesting. It's relatively new, but because it's relatively new, I don't have that much data to go off of. I can't really make a factual opinion on it and actually, you know, give you an honest opinion about it. I believe that if XRP does well, then this one should be doing well as well. And if XRP goes down, then this thing it's gonna hurt you pretty hard because it's 2x leverage. All right, let's look at ARB for my friend Chewy here, and I think that's gonna be it for this live stream here, guys. I'm glad you were able to make it into the live stream here, Chewy. Arbitrum. Let's look at this on the daily time frame here. Let me see if I can find another chart here. Let's see what it looks like on Bitfinex. Yeah, here we go. We got some more data here. Okay. So this thing is currently trading at 34 cents. And we're up like 3.5% today. Is Arbitrum, is it actually bottoming out here? That's the first thing I want to know to get me excited about it. All right. I do see some possible bullish divergence maybe here on the RSI. Right. We obviously know this thing is making lower prices, lower lows here. And then you were creating higher lows here on the RSI, so there was beginning of bullish divergence, but you lost that for some reason. Oh yeah, you lost that because of Donald Trump's tariffs go into effect, and then you did a 90-day pause, and then that sent things up. But this thing didn't really catch that wave like some of these other cryptos did. Okay. Cause what? How far are we? We're just analyzing this, game planning this out. From the low that we made here at like 24 cents, right? To where we are right now at 34 cents. Okay, you're up about like 40%. That's not too bad. You're up about 40% since the low back in April 7th here. But we've seen other cryptos go up like 100%. We've seen like what Sui almost go up like 70% since beginning of April. But you know, that doesn't mean that this thing can't do something for us here. Maybe people just don't know about it yet. So here we are. Look at the daily time frame here. We look like we're about to bottom out. Okay. I want to see this thing get above the last recent high on March 26th, where we saw this thing as high as about 40 cents. So that's the high water mark that I want to beat. And once we get past 40 cents here, I'm just marking it out with this red line, then we could say that we're making higher highs, and then we're going to be looking for a higher low as we start a bull trend here on this crypto. Now, let's see. We got the 50 moving average. This 50 moving average is probably going to provide resistance here. That's currently sitting at like 41 cents right now. So I think your first take profit target on Arbitrum should be 40 cents, 41 cents if you're day trading it, or if you're short-term trading it. But then going forward, you do have the 100 and the 200. This could provide resistance at like 56 cents here and 58 cents. So that's probably going to be your next take profit target. It's going to be somewhere in this area. And yeah, we're just game planning things out here. As I zoom out here, I got data going all the way back to like 2023 here. Now I'm going to turn on that VRVP, see what the VRVP has to say for levels. You got the blue line, point of control at 48 cents. That should be a resistance area. Okay, it's kind of in between these two red lines here with the moving averages. But yeah, let's see. After we get past like 60 cents here, you got a high volume node here at like 69 cents. Okay, someone's funny, right? 69 cents. That could be a good target, take profit target. And then another high volume node here at like 78 cents. And then you got a gap here, and then probably like 94 cents. And then we got the value area high. You should be taking profit at $1.12 for this cryptocurrency. You should have been selling something by that point, because you basically you more than tripled your investment if you're buying it at these prices right now. And you're almost doing a quadruple at that point, a 4x. And this crypto has been as high as, what, back in February 2024, we started at $2. So, I think that's like, what, an 8x from where we are right now, or 7x. Okay. But the thing is, like, we, during this last altcoin pump that we had, this altcoin season in December, we only got as high as about like $1.08, $1.15. So that's just a lower high. It didn't get as much love as it should have. Okay, because other altcoins like Solana, went past this all-time high in November of 2024 during the last altcoin season. And then it went to like almost $300 in January, making new all-time highs. This cryptocurrency didn't do that though. So, all right, I got this one on my radar. It's not that bad. Not that bad of a look here for Arbitrum. Could be worth making some money on. And yeah, I think that's gonna be it, guys. Oh wait, oh man, Acubar. I will take one more request. You're gonna have to pick which one. Do you want me to look at Cookie or do you want me to look at Echelon Prime? Because I was about to finish up this live stream here, and you just threw like 2 at me towards the end here. Yeah, Chewy. Well, I'm glad you made it out to the live stream. Appreciate you coming out here. I've been live since like 4 p.m. East Coast time here. Almost 2-hour live stream here. But I'm glad you came out to the live. You have to look for the next one when you get a chance. All right. Yep. So we'll look at Echelon. I think we have a vote for Echelon Prime here. So we'll look at Echelon Prime, and then that's going to be it for me. And then if we come back on the next live stream, I'll look at Cookie DAO for you. But it's getting towards the end here for me. I got some things I need to do. I got to make some dinner. And yeah, we'll just have to save that one for later. But let's look at Echelon Prime. I don't think I ever had anybody look at ask for this crypto. I think I might have looked at it on my own time, showing people here. But yeah, let's look at the Prime here. And this is gonna be the last one for today, guys. You got to save that next request for the next live stream, please. Let's go ahead and look at Echelon Prime. Looking at let's see, we're trading at $3.40 here, up 15% today. Okay, Echelon Prime is getting some love. Okay, I was actually eyeballing this crypto too as a potential buy earlier this week. Let's see what's going on with Echelon Prime here. Echelon Prime did get above the 21 EMA after the last couple of days here. Not even overbought. RSI is at 59.79. And yeah, I do want to see Echelon Prime get above the high that it made here on the daily time frame here of like $5.47. But it might actually get some resistance from the 50-day, which is sitting at $4.92. But yeah, let me go ahead and mark this on the chart here. I want to see Echelon Prime get up to like, yeah, basically like $5.66 here. That red number right there. That's going to let me know that we're making higher highs here and that this thing is bottoming out here. The bottom probably was like around here on April 17th when it got as low as like $2.16. Okay. Now, just game playing forward, if you're to buy this thing now, right, you probably want to put your stop loss like right over here at like $2.50. If you lose $2.50, then you might come right back down to that low $2 or $2.30. Maybe even like $2.16 again one more time. Okay, but yeah, let's see. Game playing this thing out. If this thing does continue going higher to higher prices here, you got the 200 and the 100, which are moving targets, right? The 200 and 100 is currently sitting at $7.80 and $8. So this thing could possibly double before it gets resistance from the 200 moving average. Okay. And if I turn on the VRVP, what's the VRVP have to say? VRVP is saying that point of control is at 295. So if this thing does start to chill out and start trading down to lower prices, $2.95. You should be trying to scoop something up over there, because you might get a reaction where this thing bounces off the blue line there and then tries to make a run up to the higher prices here. And you got a little bit of resistance at 425. But then you got a big gap in the VRVP, and then you could come up to like this $5.65 target, and that would be the first higher high on the daily time frame. And then once you get past that, you got another high volume node here at like $7.39. I think $7.39 is probably going to be where, once the 100 and 200 catches up to where the price is at, you might see $7.39 as the resistance. But value area high is sitting at $9.65. $9.65. You should have sold something. You should have sold some of your prime by that point, and you basically got a 3x right here. Just looking at the VRVP data. All right. The value area high is where 50% of the volume was trading at. POC, the blue line, is where the 50% of the volume was trading at. And then the value area low is where like another 15% of the volume was trading at. And then the rest is just, you know, obviously it doesn't add up to 100 because you got 15, 50, and 15 again. And that gets you what? 80. And then the rest of it is like 20% of the volume is all over the place. But these are some good lines to have on your charts here. POC, value area low, value area high. And using that VRVP indicator here, the volume range visual profile. And just the way I do this chart here, the volume range visual profile on TradingView, I go over to the settings, and usually it's at like 24. And when it's at 24, it's going to look something like this. You get like these blocks, which doesn't really help me too much. I like putting, in the settings here, I like putting another 0 after the 24. Okay. If it's going to actually, yeah, there we go. Okay. And then it'll look something like this, and then you can really see what the gaps are on the VRVP here. Okay. So, yeah. That's Echelon Prime there for you guys. This thing could be a triple in the future here if it gets back to that value area high, sitting at like $9 or $10 here. And I think that's gonna be it here for today, guys. Let's see, Chewy's in the. You said a few things here in the chat. You're probably gonna sell 50 to 75% at break even, then see what happens to the rest. Try and make the next. Oh, I appreciate you coming on to the next live stream. Guys, I'll probably go live again around the same time tomorrow. We'll see if Bitcoin actually hits 100K on its way to $102,000. Let's see what Bitcoin's doing right now. Yeah, it's just chilling out. I think Bitcoin's gonna go sideways until we get the daily candle close here, and then we might get something going on at like 8 o'clock East Coast time here tonight for Bitcoin. But yeah, we'll see if Bitcoin goes up to 100K tomorrow. You'll definitely see me on the live stream here around this time, and we'll just have to see where things go from there. Take care, guys, and don't forget to hit that like button and the subscribe if you haven't subscribed already yet. Take care, guys.